In the news, MNLF State Chairman of Davao City reiterates his support for Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy. The chairman strongly believes that accusations hurled against Pastor Apollo are unfounded. He also commended the good pastor for his knowledge of the Holy Quran and Hadith, acknowledging that he is a brother to Muslims. Senator Bato Dela Rosa fumed due to comments made by a political vlogger during the Senate hearing on PDEA leaks. The probe stems from documents linking President Bongbong Marcos to illegal drugs. These confidential files were leaked online amid PDEA's insistence that such documents do not exist. And the Congress is urged to fast-track the regulation of artificial intelligence following the deepfake audio of President Marcos Jr., which circulated online. Authorities are now tracing accounts that disseminated the deepfake audio with the cooperation of tech giant Google. I am Vhal Divinagracia. You're watching Newsline World. A high-ranking official of the Moro National Liberation Front has commented on Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy's preaching, which recently went viral on social media using the sacred text of our Muslim brothers. MJ Mandihar reports.
And you know, in my study, violence has no place in Islam. Violence has no place in Islam. This is the reminder of the Quran.
This is part of one of the preaching by Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ on the topic of peace, especially amid the tensions in the Middle East. Aside from the Holy Bible, the good pastor is knowledgeable about the teachings of the Holy Quran, the sacred book of our Muslim brothers. And according to the Quran,
and I quote, "We made a covenant with you that you shall not shed your blood, nor shall you evict each other from your home. You agreed and bore witness." Holy Quran, chapter 2, verse 84.
Pastor Apollo stressed that our Muslim brothers seek peace, something that should be spread worldwide, especially here in the Philippines.
The traits of the believers are reflected not in violence as understood from these verses. They, and I quote, "they avoid gross sins and vice, and when angered, they forgive. They respond to their Lord by observing prayers or salat. Their affairs are decided after due consultations among themselves, and from our provisions to them, they give to charity."
Now, I praise Pastor Apollo Kibuloy for such preaching the Holy Quran at saka yung Hadith.
That preaching by the good pastor went viral on social media with hundreds of thousands of views. Netizens also admire Pastor Apollo's explanations, promoting unity between Christians and Muslims. And for the state chairman of the Moro National Liberation Front, or MNLF Davao City, as is Mongkolamit, Pastor Apollo's statement that went viral on the internet is highly commendable, especially from the point of view of those who practice Islam. So, for the MNLF and the Muslim community, the attacks on the good pastor now are unbelievable.
Na-touch kami, mga Muslim sa kanya. Nagkaroon kami ng respeto sa kanya. That's why hindi ako maniwala, nagagawa siya ng masama. Dahil pati Quran at saka yung Hadith. The Hadith is the other interpretation ng Quran eh. Alam niya.
According to Ulamit, it's rare for a pastor to have a deep understanding of the teachings of Islam. So aside from being a preacher, they also consider Pastor Apollo as a brother to Muslims.
So, kung marinig mo man ako, I will call him Brother Pastor Apollo Kibuloy. Sana you live peacefully. Ngayon, you will be delivered. Mabigyan ka rin ng hustisya because everything is a destiny. Siguro ang pagkakataon na nangyari ito sa iyo, it's kagustuhan ng Panginoon natin. You will be vindicated sooner or later. Inshallah, Pastor.
Based on the 2023 data from the Philippine Statistics Authority, there are over 6 million of our Muslim brothers and sisters in the entire country. Most of them are in Mindanao, where the Kingdom of Jesus Christ also originated in Davao City. For Government of Philippines, MJ Mondihar, SMNI News.
The Senate hearing on the alleged PDEA leaks continues to question the authenticity of classified documents circulating online. These documents are linking President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. to illegal drugs. Amid the heated discussions during the probe, one senator's temper flared due to comments made by a political vlogger about him. Vhal Divinagracia has the details.
Nababayaran ako ni Lisa Marcos? How dare you? How dare you? Do you think may presyo yung mukha ko?
Senator Bato Dela Rosa's temper flared due to the comments made by political vlogger Maharlika, while the Senate Committee on Dangerous Drugs, chaired by Senator Bato, delved into the controversial PDEA leaks. US-based vlogger Maharlika posted on social media insinuating unfairness on the senator's part. In the said post, Maharlika questioned whether First Lady Liza Marcos had bribed the lawmaker.
Sino lang ang senador nandito ngayon nag-hearing? Why? You ask yourself. Kung sinong senador lang gustong malaman ang katotohanan.
In other social media posts, Maharlika questioned why the alleged drug use of Marcos Jr. was not discussed or investigated by the senator. The vlogger also criticized the 4 PDEA employees who opposed the statements of former PDEA agent Jonathan Morales, who signed documents implicating Marcos as a cocaine user in the past. It is worth noting that former President Rodrigo Duterte confirmed the existence of the confidential report while delivering his speech at a rally, while the documents implicating PBBM to illegal drugs first surfaced in one of Maharlika's vlogs. In an interview following the initial hearing, Morales reiterated the authenticity of the documents.
Hindi naman po pwedeng basta baliwalain kasi nakita ng Pangulong Duterte. May sinasabi siyang report na nakita niya involving actress Maricel Soriano at yung si President Bongbong Marcos. Kaya itong report na ito, sabi ko nga, ito resulta lang ng trabaho. Kung naiintindihan ko sila, dinideny nila ngayon. Dahil nga, sitting president.
Regarding his former colleague's denial of his allegations, Morales said he understood their position.
Part lang talaga na pinapunta sila rito dahil nga rin sa happy nila na nag-uutos. Pero yun nga, nakakalungkot nga lang talagang mamimili talaga sila doon sa akin at saka doon sa pagkain sa mesa nila.
For Senator Bato, the verification of the classified documents remains at a deadlock.
That's official statement coming from PDEA. So who am I not to believe PDEA? At ito naman si Morales na nagsasabi na siya ang gumawa ng papilis na yan, kumalat ngayon nandun na kay Maharlika at nagkalat na sa buong social media. Hindi ko rin pwedeng sabihin na hindi totoo yung sinabi niya. Dahil nandyan naman talaga yung dokumento.
After the initial hearing on the PDEA leaks, the committee immediately went into an executive session with PDEA officials. According to Senator Bato, subsequent hearings can be expected until the source of the leaked confidential documents is identified. Vlogger Maharlika has also been invited to the next hearing. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, this has been Carlo de la Peña, SMNI News.
The impending investigation by the House of Representatives into the alleged influx of Chinese students in Cagayan province is poised to affect the economy of the Philippines, particularly the tourism sector. Carla Abiliana reports.
Nakakalungkot, wala namang problema kung mag-imbestiga. Sana nag-background check na muna sila. Hindi yung uunahan mo na, may conclusion ka na bago ka mag-imbestiga. 400 ang mga foreign students sa sinasabi nila sa St. Paul, galing sa India, East Timor, galing sa USA, Nigeria, Korea. Pero bakit nila sinisingle out ang Chinese sa threats to national security daw, At parang pinapahiwatig nila ng mga spies.
According to Teresita Angsi, the founding president of Kaisa para sa Kaunlaran, it's unlikely for the students to become spies. Angsi represents a movement advocating for the full integration of the Chinese-Filipino community and is a former president of the Philippine Association for Chinese Studies.
Nagtataka ako, paano magiging threat to national security? Paano magiging espiya tong mga estudyante? Bakit? Nakakalabas ba sila ng campus ng ganun na lang? Ang higpit ng rules nila na huwag kayong magpupunta sa mga bar, huwag kayong magpupunta kung saan-saan. Meron silang isang student parang council sa eskwelahan. Ang head nito, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, yung dating nakausap ko galing sa India, no? Yung secretary nila galing sa USA. Mahigpit sila sa titingin sa welfare ng mga estudyante. So bakit sinasabi mo pwede silang maging threat to national security? Pwede silang pumunta sa kampo mo, pwede silang magpunta sa military installation. Kahit nga tayong dalawa siguro kung gusto natin pumasok sa any of the military installation, hindi naman tayo pwedeng papasukin dyan. Much less mga estudyante, paano mangyayari yun? Kaya figment of their imagination ang nangyayari. Sana mag-ingat din. Okay naman na mag-imbestiga, pero siyempre mag-ingat din na you don't solve a problem by creating an even bigger problem.
She says the impending probe will have significant implications for foreign students who want to study in the country. If the probe pushes through, she believes that the government's move will greatly affect the country's economy.
Pinakamalaki ang naapektuhan sa turismo, no? Even before itong mga estudyante na to, nakakalungkot. Ito lang nung lumabas itong mga stories na ganyan, mayroon mga trade delegation. Nung isang araw lang, nag-meeting kasi ang Chamber of Commerce. Sinabi nila, may mga trade delegation na gusto sanang bumisita para makita ko anong mga investment opportunities. Umatras dahil natatakot na may nagkakaroon ng mga racist tendencies daw ang ating mga national leaders. Hindi natin kailangan lumabas ang bansa si Presidente Marcos dahil kung maganda ang environment natin for investments, we don't need to go out and spend so much taxpayers' money to entice foreign investments. Darating at darating yan kung maganda ang environment natin for businessmen and business opportunities.
According to C, the issue of racism or intense hatred towards China, rooted in tensions over territory disputes in the West Philippine Sea, is harmful to the Philippines and should not be supported.
Unang-una, ang nagbabanggaan, political antagonist, no? Ang pangalawang nagbabanggaan ay yung sinasabi nilang EDCA sites, dahil gusto ng military humingi ng karagdagang pondo, kaya sasakyan nila yung istorya na may mga spies para nandito EDCA sites sila.
She stressed that the real threat to the Philippines is the unresolved issues such as low wages for workers, not the Chinese students.
Ang threat sa national security natin ay ang ating national problems na hindi nare-resolba, no? Isa na yan, tens of thousands of farmers, no? Severely affected by El Nino.
Reporting from Newsline World, this is Carla Abellana, SMNI News.
The Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, or CICC, is urging Congress to expedite the passage of legislation regulating artificial intelligence following the spread of what appears to be a deepfake audio of PDEA. The CICC is also coordinating with Google to trace the accounts used in disseminating the said audio. Jason Rubik reports.
With the 2025 elections drawing near, the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, warned about the increasing prevalence of deepfake content. This comes after an alleged deepfake audio of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. instructing an attack on a country circulated online. Consequently, the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, or CICC, is urging Congress to pass legislation regulating artificial intelligence. CICC Undersecretary Alexander Ramos acknowledged the government's limited resources on this issue and emphasized the importance of having laws in place.
And sana naman bilis-bilisan nila. Ang technology ay mabilis mag-evolve. Dapat meron ding paraan ang Kongreso natin na mabilis rin silang pumasa na to keep up with the technology trends. Kasi importante yan eh.
The origins of the deepfake audio is currently under investigation by the CICC along with other government agencies. According to the CICC, they are working with Google to identify the accounts used to post and spread the audio.
We are working with Google to identify kung sino yung nag-register doon. We are at that stage right now. Kasi yung YouTube, di ba, nasa kanila na rin. We just need the registry. We need the logs. Who sent it? Who created accounts? Yun ang kailangan natin ma-develop eh.
Questions were raised about whether China was allegedly involved in the deepfake audio linked to Marcos Jr., but the CICC explained that no country was involved in it.
Malamang hindi siya bansa. So obviously tao siya, no? So you don't run after a whole country. You have to really find out kung sino yung taong gumawa niyan, kung anong ginamit niyang plataforma.
Pwede mo kasi i-mask ang iyong origin eh. And it will take a while for us to really dig deep saan talaga ang originating center ito.
The CICC reminds the public not to immediately believe any video or audio they see or hear online. For God and my beloved Philippines, I am Jason Rubrico, SMNI News.
The enhancement of the Philippine electric vehicle or EV industry through support for local manufacturing was discussed at a meeting in Malacanang to reduce carbon emissions of the transport sector. Creslin Catarong for the details.
The Department of Energy and other relevant agencies have been tasked to fast-track the implementation of action plans and strategies to advance the electric vehicle industry of the Philippines. The directive was issued by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. during a sectoral meeting held at Malacanang on Tuesday. Malacanang Press Briefer Daphne Osanyapais stated that the directive specifically targets the public transportation sector. DOE Undersecretary Felix William Fentebella disclosed that the meeting at the palace included representatives from the Department of Transportation, Department of Trade and Industry, and the Department of Science and Technology. Fentebella mentioned that their discussion focused on a comprehensive roadmap for the electric vehicle industry.
As of 2023, we only have 0.001% or 7,000 electric vehicles registered out of the 14,300,000 na figure of registered vehicles. So malayo pa tayo. But under the Electric Vehicle Industry Development Act, these agencies with the Department of Energy should push for the promotion of electric vehicles.
The Philippines is far from its target of 2.45 million EVs and approximately 65,000 EV charging stations by 2028. Relevant agencies in the country have been instructed to collaborate to study the integration of the EV industry to strengthen local manufacturing of electric vehicles and support mechanisms for battery charging. The DOE was also tasked to focus on supporting the acquisition of electric vehicles by commercial fleets such as government or private company vehicles and public transportation vehicles. For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Creslin Catarong, SMNI News.
Up next, the crisis is not over in Indonesia's North Sulawesi province after Mount Ruang erupts anew, forcing mass evacuations and airport closures in the country. And Thailand's top diplomat steps down after losing his position as Deputy Prime Minister through a cabinet reshuffle. Newsline World will be back after the break. The call for the resignation of Bongbong Marcos continues, alleging his lack of capability to lead the country and his disregard for issues hurled at his administration. Angel Pastor reports.
And bakit naman namin gusto mag-resign si Marcos, alam mo, we won't give in to the abuses of the Marcos administration. Gulong-gulo na ang taong bayan. So, yun nga, sabi ko nga, we all came together at binuo namin ito Marcos Resign Movement.
That's what Vivian Velez, the co-convener of the Marcos Resign movement, said against the current administration of BBM. According to Velez, their call for BBM's resignation as the country's president has been long overdue due to the alleged abuses against citizens and his failure to address various pressing issues in the Philippines, especially his alleged involvement in illegal drugs. Another reason Velez stated was the current government's disregard for the majority of Filipinos' grievances, particularly issues such as corruption and rising prices of goods.
Ang nakakatakot dito, sinungaling ang ating gobyerno. Yun ang isa pa sinungaling ang ating gobyerno. So, aside from addressing na lang sana kung ano yung mga hinaing ng taong bayan, magsisinungaling sila. So, yan ang talagang napaka-critical na gawain ng isang gobyerno. Ugly, smuggling, di ba pagkain yan? Food security yan. Bakit merong mga ganito? So, ang bilis kasi sinasabi mo 2 years lang, pero yung 2 years na yon, ang dami na nangyayari. Kaya nga ang taong bayan, pagod na pagod na. Ako pagod na ako dito sa administrasyon na ito.
Instead of being an ally to Marcos Jr. and other government agencies to improve his image, they remain silent, which further erodes the public's trust in the president.
Walang investigation. Yun nga yung sinasabi ko, it's public trust and national security. Diba? Nasaan yung mga yon? Impeachable ground lahat yun Pero bakit walang kumikibo? Pera ba ang maandar dito sa ganito na ba yon? Pera-pera na lang?
In the end, the Marcos Resign movement has a message for the public.
In your small way, you don't have to affiliate with us. You don't have to be in assembly or in a group of people. On your own. Makakagawa po kayo ma-voice out ninyo kung ano yung mga hinaing nyo dito sa ating Pangulo.
For God of my beloved Philippines, Angel Pastor, SMNI News.
Thailand's top diplomat who played a key role in securing the release of Thai hostages in Gaza voluntarily resigned after a cabinet reshuffle caused him to lose his position as the country's deputy prime minister. Chatman Kompisay Magason reports.
Panpri Paintanukon, Thailand's former foreign minister, said he resigned from his post because he could not perform effectively his diplomatic duties after the Prime Minister removed him as the Deputy Prime Minister. According to Panpri, it is common for a foreign minister to also assume the role of Deputy Prime Minister to make foreign affairs operations smoother. He noted that being removed as Deputy Prime Minister while retaining the post as Foreign Minister was a little bit unusual. The 67-year-old played a role in securing the release of Thai hostages in Gaza and initiating diplomatic efforts to resolve the conflict in Myanmar during his reign as both Foreign Minister and Deputy Prime Minister, which lasted for more than 7 months. The former foreign minister said he believed that his performance was not the reason for a change in status, adding that he had dedicated himself to his work and that he was ready to give way if the ministry found someone more suitable than him. Thai Prime Minister Sethar Thavisin confirmed the report and said he respected the foreign minister's decision. Thavisin said he aimed to let Panpri focus on his work as foreign minister and apologized if the cabinet reshuffle made him uncomfortable. The Prime Minister added he is now looking for Panpri's successor. A retired diplomat who served as Thailand's former ambassador to Australia and Canada emerges as the top candidate to replace Panpri as the country's foreign minister. Reporting from Thailand, I'm Shadmongkon Bisamaikoson, your Global Citizens correspondent for SMNI News Channel.
The United States top diplomat said that a security deal it will offer Saudi Arabia if it agrees to normalize ties with Israel is near completion. Malika Sidikadis reports.
Assalamu alaikum. The proposal concerning a potential peace deal between Saudi Arabia and Israel has been revived during Secretary of State Antony Blinken's visit to the oil-rich kingdom. In a conversation with the president of the World Economic Forum, Blinken revealed that he was supposed to visit the region on October 10, 2023 to work on the Israel-Saudi normalization deal, which failed to happen after Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th. However, he said that the latest negotiations are close to completion.
I was scheduled to be in the region, to be in Saudi Arabia and in Israel on October 10th, a trip that didn't happen because of October 7th, to focus specifically on the Palestinian piece of any normalization agreement, because that is, as you said, an essential component. I think, look, the work that Saudi Arabia and the United States have been doing together in terms of our own agreements, I think is potentially very close to completion.
However, Blinken acknowledged that the issue concerning Palestine is one of the critical components to making the Israel-Saudi deal work, particularly the recognition of a Palestinian state.
But then, in order to move forward with normalization, two things will be required: calm in Gaza and a credible pathway to a Palestinian state. So, to the extent we finish our work between us, then I think what's been a hypothetical or a theoretical question suddenly becomes real, and people will have to make decisions.
The U.S. top diplomat also discussed the situation in Gaza and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine during his conversation with the World Economic Forum president, which lasted for almost 40 minutes. It can be remembered that the United States was the only country and the permanent member of the United Nations that vetoed a resolution earlier this month that supported Palestine's bid for full membership at the United Nations, as well as a pathway for the recognition of Palestinian statehood. A council resolution needs at least 9 votes in favor and no vetoes by the permanent members, which include the US, Britain, France, Russia, or China, for a state to be granted full membership. The trip was Blinken's 7th visit to the region since October 7th. Reporting from Kuwait, I am Melchizedek Cadiz, your global citizen correspondent for God and for our beloved country, the Philippines.
A stratovolcano in Indonesia that erupted several times in the past 2 weeks sent residents fleeing again after it showed more signs of volcanic activities. Renjo Modikilio reports.
The eruption of Mount Ruang volcano forced evacuations, raised the alert level to its highest, and closed a nearby international airport. Authorities warned the threat from the 2,379-foot stratovolcano is not yet over. Mount Ruang erupted right after midnight and twice more on Tuesday morning, which sent a tower of ash more than 5 kilometers into the sky. The 6-kilometer exclusion zone was reinstated and locals were warned of the possibility of tsunamis. The latest incident happened after more than 11,000 people were told to evacuate last week. The nearest international airport and several flights were also cancelled after the stratovolcano emitted a spectacular mix of lava, ash, and lightning as it rained down molten rocks on nearby villages. It was not clear how many residents were told to evacuate on Tuesday, but more than 800 people who live in the region of Ruang in North Sulawesi province were all evacuated this month. Reporting from Singapore, I'm Renjo Modikilio, your global citizen correspondent for God and our beloved country, the Philippines.
The United Arab Emirates and Ukraine finalized an economic agreement to boost bilateral trade, which has declined significantly since the Russia-Ukraine war erupted in 2022. Gratero Umuri has the details.
The Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or CEPA, signed between the UAE and Ukraine not only marked a significant milestone for both countries, but also pushed the Gulf nation's ambitious goal to increase the value of its non-oil foreign trade to 4 trillion dirhams by 2031. The economic agreement was signed by Dr. Althani bin Ahmed Al-Ziodi, UAE's Minister of State for Foreign Trade, and Yulia Zveredenko, Ukraine's first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Economic Development and Trade. The partnership will not only help Ukraine in accessing bigger international markets through the UAE, but also aid with its post-war recovery. Non-oil trade between the UAE and Ukraine was estimated at $385.8 million last year. Meanwhile, joint foreign direct investment will reach an estimated $360 million by the end of 2022. The UAE is working on similar deals with the Philippines, Vietnam, New Zealand, Ecuador, and Serbia. The deal was UAE's 15th economic agreement that has been formally signed or successfully negotiated with countries from Africa, Asia, Europe, and South America. Reporting from Dubai, I'm Gratero Omori, your global citizen correspondent for SMNI News Channel.
And before we end, may be inspired with the words of the song. Strengthen your freedom of choice to follow His will, and then you will have spiritual liberty. And that's all for this edition. For more updates, you can visit smninewschannel.com or follow us on our official social media accounts in Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. For God, my beloved country, the Philippines, I'm Vhal Divinagracia, and this is Newsline World.
Subscribe to SMNI News Channel and turn on the notification bell to keep you up to date. Also visit our official social media accounts and join our community on Viber and Telegram.